Hello everybody, my name is Sachin Bhandari and you're watching the Story Course YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the newest member in our family, that's Kiki. Kiki, say hi to everybody. Oh God. Okay, so Kiki is getting too restless. I'm going to let her go, but you don't go anywhere because I have an interesting story to tell and I also have some good communication tips to share with you guys. Okay Kiki, go. Go, easy, 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 easy. Yes, so about 4 months ago, we welcomed this cute little pup into our family. My wife Sarika, she is really fond of pets, of dogs especially, and she had been asking that we need to get a pet into our family for a long time. I finally obliged because we moved into a smaller city, which is Mysore, and we have a house where I feel that we can actually keep a pet, and the pet has enough space to move out and do things, etc, etc. So, but still at the same time, despite the fact that I was okay with the idea and we got Kiki home, I still didn't feel like family, right? To me, it was Sarika's pet, it was a dog, and that's how it was for the first couple of weeks. Then one day when my wife Sarika was holding Kiki in her hand, Kiki jumped and she actually landed on the floor. She was really small and she shrieked, and the entire household, so our entire family, took notice of it. We came running into this room where we are shooting the video right now, and we were all worried that maybe she has broken a bone or maybe she's torn a muscle because she was really whimpering in pain. So I got down to her on my knees and I looked at her, and I started checking her limbs, and when I did that, she looked at me with those really cute puppy eyes, and she walked over to me and she sat in my lap. She almost, like, without saying anything, told me that I know that you will protect me. And I think that is the moment when Kiki and I became family. And I'm guessing that this is the reason why people own pets, right? Now, if you look at the pet care industry, I didn't know this, but I started reading up on pets after we got Kiki home. There are 23 million pet dogs in India. There are 4 million pet cats in India. And by 2022, this industry is going to be valued at about 500 million US dollars. And that's not it. Because people are now choosing not to have kids, there are a lot of single people staying alone on their own, there are elders who are staying alone on their own, and people feeling the need to connect, especially with the pandemic, etc. This industry, the pet care industry, is bound to grow. By some estimates, it's bound to grow by about 20 times. That's the amount of potential that this industry has. Now, I can understand why people are getting so excited, especially other Indians like me, because when you have a pet in the family, you sort of are touch with your emotions almost on a daily basis. While that is happening, and I know that the pet care industry is something that venture capitalists and a lot of startups are taking note of. So while this industry is poised to grow, Kiki is actually busy ripping apart my shirts and my footwear. So despite that, I think our life has turned for the better because of Kiki. That's the story for today. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I could be a pet care startup founder and I would have narrated this story, and with that, the stats, the industry estimates, etc, etc, would have become a lot more palatable. You would have connected a lot better with it rather than me just talking about the industry and the stats, right? So a lot of startup founders ask me, Sachin, storytelling is great, but what's the application for a business? Now, the application of storytelling is mind-bogglingly varied. But one thing, if you had to take one thing, I would say that more often than not, when you're making presentations, when you're making a pitch, when you're talking to someone in business sense, it always helps to have a personal or at least a human story that people can connect with. So I opened this particular video with the story, with Kiki's story, and it's a real one, and I believe every word of it. So if I was a pet care startup founder, then that story almost becomes like an asset in my communication toolkit. and it always helps to narrate a personal story, even if it is an investor presentation, because a lot of investors are also looking for the reason, your connection with a particular industry or not, right? So also don't go away. The communication tip for today is also fairly simple. It's linked to this. It's start with a story. Now you can start with a story even if you're delivering a speech, if you're making a presentation, if you are writing a document, if you're communicating with your teammates, etc., etc. So one of the other formats that I have in mind, or I sort of use in my own communication, is start with a story, a personal story. You then talk about statistics or your key messages from a business point of view, and then you end with that particular story. So you loop back to the entire story as well, so that the entire charm of narrating a personal story, or a story rather, does not go away from your pitch, your presentation, or your piece of communication. So I think that's it for today. I got to go and play with Kiki so that I can say that again I had a great day. Like I always say, the StoryCo is a storytelling coaching and training firm. We help founders and leaders use the power of storytelling to engage better with their audiences. We work through coaching programs and also training programs. So if you have any questions about storytelling, about this particular story, about pitching, etc., anything that you can think of, feel free to ask us in comments, and either I or one of my colleagues will get back to you shortly. That's it from me in this video. Till I meet you in the next one, woof woof on. Bye.